The Iranians don't get a dime unless they behave and change their behavior. And this means that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, Sean. That's why we did this.
You say they don't get a dime. Do they ever get an American dime, a taxpayer dollar?
No. So number one, first of all, they never get a dime of American taxpayer money, ever. Full stop. Not even close.
Okay.
Let's go now to our Bloomberg Horizons Middle East and Africa anchor, Abeer Omar. Abeer, good morning. Just talk us through what more we know about this deal that we're expecting to be signed on Friday in Switzerland, and really how far apart the US and Iran still are on some of the terms.
Good morning, Lizzie. Not much since yesterday when we heard about the deal actually getting signed on Friday to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Some further details have emerged from both sides, and we're going back to these diverging statements from Iran and the United States. For example, and Ali alluded to this earlier, Iran says that it doesn't plan to charge fees for tankers and ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz for a 60-day period. The U.S. says no way that happens even after the 60-day period. JD Vance, the U.S. Vice President, was telling Fox in that interview you showed earlier that there is an explicit clause in the MOU that stops Iran from charging tolls to ships and tankers that will be moving through the Strait of Hormuz once it opens, according to President Trump, immediately after the Friday ceremony takes place. That is one extra detail we know, for example, but we don't still know further clarifications about this interim deal that is supposed to be signed later this week. Both sides have said that the deal or the interim paper will be released once it is signed. President Trump actually said that it will be released ahead of time. But look, a lot of analysts, a lot of people looking into the situation are saying that even if the paper is released, what we're probably going to see is clauses and concessions that are open to interpretation. This is where you're getting the confusion from both the Iranian side and the U.S. side. The blocked assets is something else. Iran says that the U.S. was willing to negotiate the $24 billion of blocked or frozen assets. The U.S. says not a chance that Iran gets a dime, according to Vice President JD Vance, a dime of American taxpayer money. And so we're still getting a little bit of conflict from both sides. Maybe some clarity would emerge when the MOU signing takes place on Friday and we see the documents, but that is not what a lot of analysts are thinking. For now, what we know about the deal is it is set to reopen the Strait of Hormuz on Friday for that movement, much needed movement, to resume. But even analysts and oil watchers are taking a look at this and are saying that's a long shot, because even if the strait were to open in theory on Friday, it would take weeks, if not months, for pre-war movement across the waterway to go back to what it was, essentially. And then the 60-day ceasefire period, Lizzie, that we've spoken about multiple times, where tactical negotiations over Iran's nuclear program will take place. President Trump did say, and this is according to a Bloomberg document that I will read from, that President Trump knows the regime stalls and uses time to buy time. Talks to buy time. He will not allow it. And then that document that is seen by Bloomberg suggests that President Trump could go back to militarily striking Iran. So we're not out of the woods yet, Lizzie, but we wait and see what happens on that MOU signing taking place in Geneva by the end of this week.